reaction vlog. I've recently finished reading The Hunger Games and I'm about halfway through Catching Fire already. I haven't seen the movie. I kind of missed it when it was in theaters, so now I have to wait for the DVD release. But I'm gonna see it because I'm really interested to see how Hollywood handled it. But today this video is going to be kind of a rant video, because although I did very much enjoy The Hunger Games, there are some things about it that really bugged me. Now, I've been trying to think of a way to discuss my thoughts on this book without including spoilers, and it's just not possible because a lot of my thoughts have to do with interactions to plot twists and such what, so I'm just going to throw a spoiler warning in here right now. So here's the blurb on the back. In the ruins of a place once known as North America lies the nation of Panem, a shining capital surrounded by 12 outlying districts. The capital is harsh and cruel, and keeps the districts in line by forcing them all to send one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 to participate in the annual Hunger Games, a fight to the death on live TV. 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen regards it as a death sentence when she steps forward to take her sister's place in the games. But Katniss has been very close to death before, and survival for her is second nature. Without really meaning to, she becomes a contender. But if she is to win, she will have to start making choices that weigh survival against humanity and life against love. Okay, so I'm sure you all know the premise. Katniss has to go into this arena to fight it out to the death because of a sick and twisted evil government. Cool premise so far. The first thing that kind of bugs me about it is that it's all written in present tense, which is really not my favorite writing style, but that's just me. The writing is fine, it's simple, but it works well, and it's smooth enough to allow the narrative to flow properly. But now, here's my thing. Katniss is an idiot. Let me rephrase that. Katniss is clueless about social and interpersonal interactions. She's got a brilliant mind for strategy and survival, but when it comes to interactions with any other human beings, she is a complete mess. First, let's take a look at the men who will be vying for her affections. I also cannot stand love triangles, but we'll get into that in a bit. The first one we meet is Gale. Gale is her best and, according to her, only friend and hunting partner. In the very beginning, her thoughts express some slight wonderings that Gale might be into her, but that she doesn't like to think about that. Okay, Katniss, Gale is not maybe into you. He is 100% wants to marry you and have children with you into you. And I don't even have to know anything about the characters to know that. Man, we've just started and already we see some poor dudes in the friend zone. Secondly, we meet Peeta, who is about as strategical as a potato, and we see him confess that he has been in love with her for years, and Katniss spends the entire book thinking that this is all a ruse. Katniss! Peeta is not pretending! But it isn't just romantic interactions that she can't seem to manage. Before she heads off to the games, there's this little scene with a girl named Madge who gives her a pin. Katniss explains to the reader that this is the girl who she hangs out with in school. And at this moment, she has this stunning realization that she's been my friend this whole time! Yes, Katniss, imagine that. The girl who you hang out with in school actually likes you and is sad to see you go. Blew my mind. She also expresses doubt throughout the entire book that anyone who she interacts with on a daily basis does anything more than merely tolerate her presence, and is consistently surprised when she finds out that anybody actually likes her. Now, I get that this is supposed to make her seem like she's been hardened by a tough life and she's strong, but it just makes her come off like someone who cannot even manage the basics of social interaction. Heck, she doesn't even claim to love her own mother at the beginning of the book, and the only people who we see her demonstrate any practical affection towards are her little sister Prim and then later Rue. But this just means that we get to see her all emotionally conflicted and confused over her two love interests. Look, the premise of an evil, tyrannical government that needs to be overthrown by a rebellion is a really interesting one. I want to see Panem's government toppled by a teenager. That would be interesting. What's not interesting is watching her flounder between two boys. It's not that I don't understand why love triangles are popular. Practically everything has them now, and since Twilight happened, it's been even worse, but it's not like it wasn't a thing before that. I just hate what everybody else loves about them. I hate knowing that there is no possible way to not have somebody's feelings get horribly crushed. I like both Peta and Gale as characters, and the idea of either of them getting hurt bothers me. It's often enough to make me put a book away for good. That sense of emotional weight, as I know that there is no emotionally satisfying resolution possible. I hate that crap. But you know who doesn't hate that crap? Most people. That's why it is equally frustrating how stupid the president of this country is. For an evil dictator, he's kinda dumb. So, okay, after the games are won, and Peta and Katniss both manage to return home thanks to Katniss crushing Peta's heart into oblivion by first pretending to be in love with him and then later telling him that it was all an act, apparently there is some unrest in the districts because two people are not supposed to win the games. There's only supposed to be one victor. Due to Katniss's love act, there were two. But now that Katniss is back home and no longer pretending to be in love with Peta and is now aware that Gale is also in love with her, people are talking about how she defied the government in order to win. And hey, if she defied the government, maybe we can too. The president does not like this and orders her to ramp up the love act, completely ignoring how much people dig love triangles. Wouldn't it be like way easier to make a big deal about how she didn't know either of them were in love with her before the game, which is true, and how conflicted she is about who to pick, which is also true? Why the song and dance when the truth is something that the public would eat up? But it doesn't matter anyways because he's been planning to send her back into the arena to punish her for accidentally sparking a rebellion. And along the way he does all sorts of other dickish things that are meant to make her suffer but will only manage to make her angrier and want to fight back for real this time. Yeesh, if he had just left it alone, there probably wouldn't even be a revolution. The unrest would be quieted, the public would eat up the love triangle, and Katniss would never have cause to start a rebellion. But instead, he's dumb. Okay, I've complained enough. My overall opinion? I enjoyed Hunger Games, I am enjoying Catching Fire, and aside from the things I've talked about here, yeah, I really like it. I probably would have been all over this book in high school, and it is a fun and engaging read. The whole games aspect of the story was great too. The survival action is really fun and engaging, and yeah, I teared up when Rue died. But it's frustrating me as much as it is entertaining me, and I really wish Katniss would just smarten up. I'll finish reading it and then let you know what I thought of the ending. I have heard that a lot of people really hate the ending, so we'll see. So that's about it from me on The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and I'll see you guys later in the week for another video on animation.